purpose is we want you to get the feedback so you can tweak it, and actually the goal is, if you're coming to us, we're assuming that the goal is you're looking to commercialize, you're looking to get a product out the door. If you don't have a company who's giving you feedback and input, we're not sure how you're going to do that. Like you said, you get to the end and then all of a sudden it isn't what they wanted and it's too expensive to retrofit and all that good stuff. So we're happy to put that in and make that requirement.
It was a learning experience here on my part.
All right. Okay, I'm going to combine questions for you and ask you to talk about once you get to the point where you have the company and the connection, or you have the faculty member and the connection, what are the really important parts of the collaboration? So is it the timeline, the research, is it money? So I'll throw the M word in there to talk about money. Is every project involve money, or it just depends? How do you handle that? But if you could talk about when you get down to the nuts and bolts of the collaboration, what are the key pieces that need to be in there, and at what point do you say, you know what, if this isn't in it, or maybe there isn't a point, but when do you walk away? When does it not make sense for you? And when do you stay and have it be successful?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll start. I see our connection as the beginning of a future collaboration. Even if we're not pursuing the collector that I just built this past summer, I have another idea, and we were about to write a large DOE grant, and we got to within an epsilon, very close. So next time this comes around, I think we're going to go for it. And so ITN provided the springboard for that. It wouldn't have come about otherwise, because the grant has to be coming from the company. I can provide the idea, but you got to put your name underneath it. So together we can make this work. We pull in the same direction, and I think that is very instrumental here. And that, you know, we have the same goal, to build something for the environment, a renewable energy source.
Is somebody putting together, between the two of you, when you did your project, somebody putting together the budget? Is somebody saying, here are the 3 outcomes? I mean, I know what we're looking for in the application, but you could have a lot of projects that don't involve ITN, so what are the key pieces?
We have budget and everything in this proposal, and I think that's, for us, going to be a guiding line to move along that direction. But I think it's also very important to have an openness in discussing ideas. For example, we're talking here about a evacuated tube solar collector, and I had way back some ideas how I could improve that transfer. And so, what is it? I could sit on that idea, you know, and put it in my drawer, and where it collects dust, and I could just wait till one day someone comes to me and says, "Do you have an idea for that?" And I thought, how likely is that? That's never going to happen. So here, you know, I just shared my ideas, and over the weekend, as I drew up these ideas, I had 3, 4 more, and we faxed them there, and we had a meeting and telephone conference, but there was no such thing as a license agreement or non-disclosure. It is an openness, and the bottom line is we all win, right? What do I win if I leave it in my drawer? Do I win? No. Here is a possibility that we all win. You win, I win, the world wins, because we built a collector with a better transfer system, right? So it's a win-win situation. And I think overall we need to talk more about our ideas and share them. Of course, it's very nice at the end if there's some royalties, clearly. But we need to, you know, step out and say, here's an idea, share it. And I remember a time where I was very, very afraid of just sharing an idea, because I thought as soon as I mentioned 3 words, it's gone. But that's not necessarily true, because when you have an idea, you got to realize that out there in this population of 300 million, there are 27 others that have the same idea. They just pop up here and here, and this spring, this spring, this spring. And only the one person, I think, that has the right infrastructure, connections to a company, a patent lawyer, and those little pieces in place, that will be the one person who wins in that moment.
So, Sairam, do you agree that the openness, just be open? I see you over there, your eyes getting all big, and you're smiling. So I'm just curious if you're open, or you have a little more paperwork
it depends.
attached to what you're doing?
I like to just keep it within the framework of the agreement most of the times, particularly dealing with large companies, not to name anyone. It's very important to just stick to the goals that was agreed upon. Subsequently, if there are additional things that are coming out, to have a separate series of agreements before just leaving everything out there. Working with local companies, smaller companies, it's fine to build a good relationship and trust. But when you're out with large companies, certainly you need to be extremely careful. Stick to the guidelines. Whatever you have promised, don't overpromise. Promise less and deliver more if you can. But just make sure that what you have promised, stick to the deadlines, and basically stick to the deadlines. That's most important. Identify suitable partners and collaborators who can keep the deadlines just as you do. That's very important. I think that's a key thing that I've found, is that if you don't have the right, not because everybody you can have as a collaborator, you want because it's a reputation. You only have one opportunity with an industry. It's not several. You don't get many times, many chances. You do once right, they'll completely, you will have them for the next several projects. So, yeah. But,
so you're setting up objectives, and then what about a non-disclosure or
non-disclosure?
Those
Early
common?
in advance, very much.
Okay.
Very much early in the period of time before starting to do all that. You can have some regular discussions, but most of the ones, it's better to have under the non-disclosure. It's not only good for you, it's good for the company. It's more good for the company than you. As a faculty, it really doesn't make a big difference. Like Hans was saying, either I can keep it in my drawer here or just give it away. But for the company, if that's something more important, it protects the company rather than me. And probably Brian he's an expert, so he can talk more. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Matt?
Well, in regards to money, certainly the money has motivated us to take a project idea out of the box and put it into fruition. I think that we have a lot of different project ideas on the back burner all the time, and the ones that will actually rise to the top are essentials, or if it's grant funded and we have a timeline, we have to get it done. So the funding through ITN has been a good motivator to take a project that we have been kind of cooking on for a while and say, okay, let's do this summer and target that. As far as our relationship with the partner, both of our projects, we have really been in charge in terms of keeping it on timeline, setting the outcome goals. I think the private sector partners tend to have, in my estimation, they have so much going on that this project is not the first thing on their list, perhaps. And both the guys that I've worked with on our projects, they're so busy that this project could slip away, the summer could go by, and the ITN deadline that is set in the Seed Assistance Grant could disappear, and they'd say, oh boy, oops. Whereas we wrote the grant application, our name is on the line. So I'm smiling at Ben Swieger here in the back, who is one of our development officers here at Dickinson, and he's constantly kind of keeping track of Hans and I, saying, hey guys, how's your project coming, and are we going to have it done in time? And Ben is a real good motivator to keep us moving along and keep things on track. But ultimately, it's the project manager's responsibility to keep track of things. And I think the best thing that I found is repeated communication with the partner, making sure to go up there for meetings and letting them know that, hey, we have a deadline, we have to get this project done. What is expected of the other side to get things happening, and that's been really effective. So it's not their responsibility, even though they've signed on to the project and said, yeah, we'll collaborate with you guys. I feel like as the project manager, it's been my responsibility to make sure that things happen on a timely schedule.